So let's bring this to life through two examples. Always good. I have a sunny day and a rainy day. Good to always learn from mistakes. So in this one, two non-retail, by the way, just to spice it up a little bit. So this one is actually for property development. And it's an automated valuation model system. And not to go through every single line, you'll see in there. And by the way, if anybody wants a presentation, you can ask me afterwards. So it's not a problem. And this will be videotaped, so I probably should have said it earlier, save your hand muscles, etc. But what they did in this situation, if you see the blue box, that's what matters for this talk. Net annual benefit, $500K, ROI, 111% the first year, payback period 11 months. Payback period 11 months. That's the kind of things ideally you want to see, right? And they decided on this one, so the cost optimization decision made is buying the AI software as a SaaS versus build. So this is a buy, they made the decision to buy. Now look, unless the ROI would have been 130 or something, I mean, I guess we'll never know. But I'd say that's a pretty good decision. This next one, I know it's funny ways the fonts are off, but I guess I'm probably using a different font. Sorry, I just kind of realized that. This is a rainy day scenario. I don't put the source on here for obvious reasons, but it's important, and nobody should shy away from this because there's going to be a lot of learnings in the leading edge technology, right? But this one made it to prod. Obviously, you would want to shut it down before it gets there, right? Obviously, but this is an underwriting system. They wanted to optimize it. They decided they wanted to build in this case. And there's data quality issues. They underestimated. That might have been there no matter what. There's customization effort they didn't expect or underestimated, and then there's underestimated talent costs. So that, you see the end, it's basically flat, but it's negative. But the point is they never got the payback. So you have something that maybe went live, and it's doing something, and they built it, so maybe there's some uniqueness to it, but no ROI benefit, no profit benefit, or at least ROI for this for AI. But yeah, I mean, they got some benefit actually to watch the net annual benefit. The net was negative, but they did get 200K, so it was some benefit to the company, but not at the expense of the cost. Okay, so we talked a lot about cost, we talked a lot about profit, there's a lot of talk throughout the presentation, of the conference, a lot about different elements of Gen AI, and to really do it successfully. And really at the end of the day, what we have here is we have a situation where you have two very powerful, diametrically opposed forces, and you have that running leading edge technology. You have the fear of missing out, and you have the fear of failure, and they're very real. They're very real. We talked about some of those numbers, but for those that weren't there in the panel, the fear of missing out is 31% of Asia-Pacific leaders believe it's going to help their revenue by 10% or more over the next 3 years. So maybe by year 3, okay? But that's FOMO, right? But the fear of failure, that's what we talked about earlier. 64% of retailers said, I'm not increasing my AI investment. Why? Well, because ROI and all these other things, right? So navigating that smartly, that's the game. And the good thing about a leading edge tech is you can take on, you can punch above your weight, you can do things with it, but it's not without risk, but you have to navigate through it. So Amerinda's AI Accelerator is there to help our clients with these decisions. Because in the end, really, there's 3 things organizations have to go through. Is our, in this case, Gen AI initiative or potential initiative strategy, is it essential? Is it capable? And is it trustworthy? Right? And breaking that down, it really comes down to 3 questions. Essential. Why should we do it? How's it helping the company? How's it helping our operating income? How is it, and am I going to get return off this thing, the project itself? Can we measure it and really know it, right? Capable. Some things we already talked about, right? Your capabilities, your vendor capabilities, et cetera. So, the key question is, can we do it? Probably more the variant is, can we do it in the manner we expect? Can we do it in the time we expect? It's probably more the variant, but can we do it? And then trustworthy, how do we do it safely? Privacy, security. Sustainability is part of that too. It's part of accountable in there, if you can read that. It's in white, but kind of the green's a bit brighter here on this. But that's all part of it too. So that's really the full spectrum of thinking that organizations have to have, and there's a lot of things to consider because it's unique to your situation and your use case. So I do actually have time for maybe one question, but then again, I'm here the rest of the day, so no worries. But is there open question? Someone has?
Any recommendation regarding governance? How to set this robust governance, AI governance system?
I do. So the question was around governance. Great question. How do you set up good AI governance? What I would recommend, there's obviously several considerations, but the first thing I would recommend, we talked about really understanding that it's tied to a strategy. You have KPIs that you can measure first. And don't overdo it. Pick a few, just a couple. And then get accountabilities on those metrics. Very important. Set the metrics, get the accountabilities. And then you're gonna have various forms that you're gonna probably have a lot of these already. You're gonna have your security forms, you're gonna get cross-pollination of teams, whether you're doing COEs, that's another detail about operating model. But the point is you're gonna make sure in those governance sessions you're tracking cost, which is what we're talking about today. But considering other factors, you're gonna talk about security, you're gonna talk about these things continuously through the process, and you're gonna be able to course correct, if we're talking about cost now, early. So if we're not seeing it now, what can we do now in the POC phase, in the MVP phase? What can we do to course correct right now? Including, we gotta scrap it and just take the learnings from it. Hey, that's better than negative 1.28 margin. But I would absolutely, and I'd also recommend, particularly more for larger retailers, for large organizations, make sure your FinOps functions are involved. They're not necessarily always at the helm. I realize that. For those familiar with FinOps Foundation, you'll know what I mean. I don't have to double click in there. But even if they're more of an influencer model, make sure they're involved. Make sure if you have certain use cases, your product team, your tech team, your finance, and FinOps, they can be, but they're not, to me, they're a little bit outside of finance. Doesn't matter organization where they sit. Wherever that capability is, make sure they're there. Highly, highly recommend that for cost optimization governance.